There comes a moment in every person's life when the noise becomes too loud, not just the noise of the world, the notifications, the expectations, the endless motion, but the inner noise that builds quietly beneath the surface. It's that subtle tension between who we are and who we are becoming. The moment when the body feels tired, the mind restless, and the soul quietly whispers, "Enough. It's time to return to stillness." This is the sacred invitation of an energy reset. It isn't a grand ceremony with candles or incense, though it can be. It's not about the external ritual. It's about the inner realignment, the moment when one remembers that energy is the language of the universe, and every thought, every breath, every emotion sends a signal that shapes reality. To cleanse one's energy is to return to authenticity, to peel away the layers of heaviness that were never truly yours. Every disappointment, every fear, every doubt leaves a subtle residue in your energetic field. It lingers like dust on a mirror, dimming your light. But just as the sun never stops shining, your inner light has never been lost. It's only waiting for you to clear the clouds around it. Energy cleansing begins with awareness. One must first recognize the energetic state they are in. Many walk through life disconnected from their own frequency, reacting instead of creating, absorbing instead of radiating. But energy is not meant to stagnate. It is meant to move, to circulate, to breathe. When it doesn't, life begins to feel heavy, confused, directionless. Imagine for a moment that you are a river. When the current flows freely, the water is clear, reflective, and full of life. But when debris accumulates, fallen branches, mud, and forgotten things, the water slows. It becomes murky. Stillness without flow becomes stagnation. The energy reset is the act of removing those obstacles, not by force, but with awareness and intention. Everything that exists vibrates at a certain frequency. The mind vibrates through thoughts, the body through sensations, and the soul through feeling. When one feels tired for no reason, anxious without cause, or simply disconnected from joy, it is often not physical exhaustion, but energetic congestion. Thoughts, emotions, and external energies intertwine and distort the natural rhythm of the spirit. To reset energy, one must learn to listen, not to the mind's chatter, but to the subtle sensations of the field around them, the warmth, the tingling, the pulsation. The body is always speaking and the soul always knows the truth. The ritual begins when one chooses to pause and listen deeply. In ancient traditions, the act of cleansing was never merely symbolic. It was a reminder that purification is a return to essence. Water, air, fire, earth, all elements have been used to represent the renewal of energy. Water washes away what no longer serves. Fire transforms and purifies. Air carries away the old frequencies. Earth grounds and restores balance. But in this modern age, the greatest cleansing element is awareness itself. Awareness transforms energy faster than any external tool. When one becomes fully present, without judgment, without resistance, stagnant energy begins to dissolve on its own. Awareness is the fire of consciousness. It burns through illusion, melts the frozen emotions, and opens space for light to flow again. An energy reset does not mean starting over. It means remembering who you are before the noise, before the conditioning, before the fears that were never yours to carry. It's the act of coming home to your original vibration, the natural frequency of peace, love, and expansion. Every being carries within them an inner sun, a radiant source of divine light. Yet through life's experiences, that light often becomes veiled by energetic dust. The reset ritual is not about fixing something broken, it's about revealing what was always whole. When the energy field becomes clean, perception shifts. One begins to see through clarity rather than confusion, through love rather than fear. Decisions become effortless because they no longer come from resistance, they come from flow. Synchronicities reappear, the body feels lighter, the breath deepens, and what once felt like chaos begins to arrange itself into divine order. The process of cleansing begins with one simple act: permission. Permission to release, permission to stop carrying the weight of everything, permission to let go. The energy field does not respond to force, it responds to intention. When one says inwardly, "I am ready to release what no longer serves," the universe immediately aligns with that command. Cleansing the mind, body, and soul begins with acknowledgement. Acknowledging that energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be transformed. The negative thought becomes wisdom, the pain becomes compassion, the fear becomes faith. Every emotion, when met with presence, transmutes into higher light. There is no need to rush. Energy resets happen in silence, in softness, in sincerity. The soul does not hurry, it unfolds. Just as dawn doesn't fight the night, it simply rises. So too does your energy return to balance when you stop resisting the darkness within you. The human experience is cyclical. Energy expands and contracts like the tides. Cleansing is not a one-time event. It is a rhythm, a sacred maintenance of your spiritual ecosystem. When practiced with awareness, this ritual becomes second nature. You begin to feel the shifts intuitively. You sense when your energy is open and bright, and when it's time to pause, breathe, and reset. And so, the first step in this sacred process is acknowledgement, the realization that energy defines everything. Every word, every action, every thought is energy in motion. The energy you carry becomes the energy you attract. To change your life, you must first change your frequency. This is where the ritual begins, not in movement, but in stillness, not in doing, but in remembering, not in seeking something new, but in returning to what has always been within you. When one learns to honor their energetic field as the most sacred temple, life begins to reorganize itself around that respect. The outer world starts to reflect the clarity of the inner one. And from that stillness, true manifestation is born, not from effort, but from alignment. The reset is the remembrance that everything you seek already exists within you, waiting patiently beneath the layers of noise. And all it takes to uncover it is the willingness to be still. Every energy field is made of layers, subtle yet interconnected. Just as the atmosphere surrounds the earth, your energetic body surrounds your physical form, expanding several feet beyond your skin, vibrating in constant dialogue with everything around you. When the mind becomes dense with worry, when emotions become unprocessed, these layers begin to cloud. They don't disappear, they simply lose transparency. Imagine holding a crystal in your hands. At first, it's clear, luminous, and refracts the light beautifully. But over time, dust settles on its surface, fingerprints blur its shine, and it slowly loses brilliance. The crystal itself has not changed, only its clarity has. The energy field works the same way. The light of the soul never fades. It only becomes covered by what has not yet been released. Cleansing the energy means polishing that crystal until light once again passes freely through it. It's the act of remembering that clarity is your natural state. You were born radiant. You were born pure. The heaviness you sometimes feel does not belong to you. It is simply borrowed energy, absorbed from experiences, people, and collective emotions that once touched your field. There are three main layers where energetic residue tends to accumulate: the mental, the emotional, and the physical. Each one reflects and influences the others. To reset the energy fully, one must learn to recognize and harmonize these dimensions. The mental layer holds the frequencies of thoughts, beliefs, and internal dialogues. It's the architect of reality, the place where you decide what is possible and what is not. When the mental layer is cluttered with self-doubt, comparison, and unresolved stories, the energy becomes fragmented. Thoughts move chaotically, and the body follows that disorder. Mental cleansing doesn't mean suppressing thoughts, it means observing them with awareness, allowing each one to dissolve without attachment, like clouds passing through an open sky. The emotional layer is the heart's field, the most magnetic part of your being. Every emotion sends ripples through your energetic system, shaping the way you interact with the world. When emotions are resisted, when sadness, anger, or grief are pushed away, they don't vanish. They settle in the field as vibration, waiting to be felt and released. Emotional cleansing is an act of courage. It's saying, I am willing to feel what I once feared. It's allowing energy to move again, like a river breaking through a dam. The physical layer is where energy crystallizes into matter. It is the body's way of communicating imbalance. Fatigue, tension, and even certain forms of discomfort often have energetic origins. The body doesn't lie. It mirrors the state of the invisible field. To cleanse the body energetically is to treat it as sacred ground, to breathe presence into every cell, and to listen to what it has been trying to tell you all along. When one works with these layers simultaneously, mind, emotion, and body, an alchemy occurs. Light begins to circulate more freely, connecting the upper and lower frequencies. Thought becomes more aligned with truth. Emotion flows like music. The body feels lighter, more spacious, as if it remembers how to vibrate with life again. In this stage of purification, stillness becomes your most powerful ally. In silence, the field reorganizes itself. The mind often believes that healing is something you do, but true purification happens when you allow. You become a witness rather than a controller. You step aside and let the higher intelligence, the consciousness that beats your heart and moves the stars, restore what was always meant to be balanced. One of the greatest misunderstandings about cleansing is the belief that you need to fight against negativity. But resistance only reinforces it. Energy responds to attention. The more you push against something, the more power you give it. The secret is gentle acknowledgement. When you observe the dense energy with love instead of fear, it begins to lose its grip. What you embrace transforms. What you resist persists. In the art of energetic purification, breath is the bridge. Every inhalation brings light. Every exhalation releases density. Breathing consciously is the simplest form of alignment. It doesn't require faith in a doctrine. It's universal truth. Air is life in motion. When you breathe with intention, you become the channel through which energy renews itself. Visualize a soft golden light entering through the crown of your head with each inhale, moving through your spine, reaching every cell, and then flowing out through your feet with every exhale. That light represents awareness. It doesn't need to be forced. Just the act of imagining it creates real energetic movement. The mind and the field are intimately connected. Cleansing also involves choice. The conscious decision of what kind of energy one wishes to inhabit. It is not enough to remove the old, one must invite the new. After every release, there must be an infusion of something higher. Peace, gratitude, compassion, forgiveness. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so does energy. When you release negativity without replacing it with light, the emptiness attracts similar vibrations again. But when you fill the space with elevated emotions, your field stabilizes in higher frequencies. Think of a tuning fork. When struck, it vibrates at a specific pitch. If another fork nearby resonates at the same frequency, it begins to hum too, even without being touched. Energy works this way. Your vibration influences everything around you. When you hold peace, others feel it. When you live in gratitude, the universe harmonizes with your tone. Purification, then, is not merely self-care, it is planetary service. Every individual who clears their energy contributes to the healing of the collective field. Your peace becomes a frequency that ripples outward, touching those who cross your path, even if they never know your name. The deeper one goes into this process, the more subtle the transformation becomes. What used to trigger irritation now invites compassion. What once caused anxiety now brings awareness. This is the sign of true cleansing. Not the absence of darkness, but the mastery of light. Energy responds instantly to sincerity. You don't need elaborate rituals or ancient words, though they can help set intention. What truly shifts your vibration is your willingness to be honest with yourself, to sit quietly and ask, where am I holding tension, or what story am I still carrying? Then, with each exhale, to let it go, gently, lovingly, completely. The energy reset is not about perfection, it is about authenticity. The soul doesn't seek a flawless frequency, it seeks alignment with truth, and truth is simple. Truth breathes, truth expands, truth feels light. When the mental chatter softens, when emotions begin to flow again, when the body relaxes into presence, that is when the cleansing begins to anchor. The energy field becomes luminous once more, and in that clarity, the world begins to respond differently. Opportunities align effortlessly. People appear at the right moment. Synchronicities multiply. This is not coincidence, it is coherence. The more coherent your energy becomes, the more magnetic your reality turns. It's not magic, it's resonance. The universe speaks the language of frequency. When your field is clear, your signal becomes pure, and life starts echoing back exactly what your soul has been asking for all along. When the field has been acknowledged, when awareness has softened the edges of resistance, the ritual of renewal begins. It is not a ceremony that requires sacred tools or rare materials. It begins wherever presence is invited. The only true altar is your breath. The only incense is intention. The ritual of renewal is a remembrance of flow. It's the conscious act of stepping out of mental control and into vibrational harmony. Life itself is a river of energy. When you align with it, you move effortlessly. When you resist, you create turbulence. The ritual teaches how to float again, to surrender to the current that knows where to go. The first step in this ritual is preparation of space. Every environment carries memory. Rooms absorb emotions, walls echo conversations, and air holds unspoken words. Before beginning, it is wise to create space that mirrors the peace you are about to invite. Open a window and let fresh air enter. Air is consciousness in motion. It carries away stagnant frequencies. If possible, let natural light touch the room. Sunlight is physical evidence of divine vibration. It reminds the body that illumination is not something distant, it is the essence of existence. Next comes anchoring in stillness. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and bring attention to the breath. Do not manipulate it, simply observe. Notice how air enters and leaves the body without effort. This is the law of flow. Everything moves naturally when you stop interfering. As the breath stabilizes, the nervous system begins to calm, and the energetic channels open like rivers after winter's thaw. Once you feel presence deepening, visualize yourself standing beneath a gentle waterfall of light. This is not imagination. It is the language of energy. Picture a golden stream descending from above your head, moving through your body, cleansing every cell, every thought, every emotion. The water is liquid consciousness, washing away the old stories you no longer need. You may feel warmth, tingling, or even emotion rising. Let it move. Energy heals through movement, not suppression. As the light flows, allow your awareness to travel through your body. Begin at the crown of your head and move slowly downward. Notice any areas that feel tense, heavy, or numb. Don't try to fix them. Simply bring light there. Your attention is enough. Wherever awareness goes, Energy follows. Imagine each area breathing again, expanding, releasing. When you reach the heart, pause. The heart is the bridge between the physical and the spiritual. It's where frequencies converge. The heart doesn't speak in logic, it speaks in rhythm. Feel its pulse, steady and ancient. Let that rhythm remind you that life has never abandoned you. It has always been pulsing within. At this point, whisper inwardly words of release. They can be simple. I let go, I forgive, I return to flow. The universe does not measure the beauty of words, it measures the truth behind them. Each phrase you speak vibrates through the field like ripples across still water. Feel them expanding outward, touching every corner of your being. The ritual continues with reconnection to earth. Place your awareness on the base of your spine, the soles of your feet. Imagine roots extending down into the ground, anchoring you deep within the planet's heartbeat. The Earth has an energy field too, a living resonance that constantly offers stability and nourishment. When you ground yourself, you remember that you are part of a vast ecosystem of vibration. Your energy is not isolated, it's woven into the fabric of all existence. Grounding is essential for integration. Cleansing removes what is heavy, but grounding ensures the new light can settle harmoniously. Many seekers forget this step and end up feeling unbalanced after deep, energetic work. To ground means to embody, to allow spirit to root into matter. It is a sacred union between heaven and earth, between consciousness and form. After grounding comes invocation of renewal. This is the moment to consciously choose the frequency you wish to inhabit. Energy follows command. The field responds to clarity. Speak inwardly. I invite peace into every cell of my being. I invite clarity into every thought. I invite love into every breath. Feel each declaration as real, not as hope, but as fact. When spoken from alignment, your words become laws of vibration. Renewal also requires receptivity. Many people ask for light, but keep their hearts closed. To receive energy, you must soften. Imagine your entire being as an open vessel. See light filling you from head to toe, not entering from outside, but awakening from within. The reset is not the arrival of something new. It is the reactivation of what was always there. In this stage, you may experience sensations, heat, tingling, tears, or an overwhelming sense of peace. These are signs that energy is reorganizing itself. Don't interpret them. Just observe. The mind will always try to label the experience, but the soul speaks through silence. When you feel complete, bring one hand to your heart and one to your abdomen. These are your centers of love and power. Whisper gratitude, not as a concept, but as an embodied feeling. Thank you for this renewal. Thank you for reminding me of my light. Gratitude seals energy. It closes the ritual not as an ending, but as a continuation of flow. The ritual of renewal is a dialogue between your soul and the universe. Every time you perform it, even silently, you send a signal across dimensions. I am ready to align. The universe always answers such clarity. Sometimes through synchronicities, sometimes through sudden calm, sometimes through new opportunities that appear seemingly out of nowhere. These are confirmations that your frequency has shifted. Over time, the ritual becomes less of a practice and more of a way of living. You start cleansing energy naturally through awareness, through kindness, through every conscious breath. The boundary between ritual and life dissolves. You begin to understand that every sunrise is an energy reset. Every night's rest is purification. Every act of love is renewal. The deeper secret of this process is that the universe does not cleanse you, it mirrors you. When you release within, life releases around you. When you forgive internally, relationships begin to heal. When you align with gratitude, abundance begins to flow. This is not philosophy, it is energetic law. The outer world reorganizes to match the tone of your vibration. The ritual of renewal is the art of remembering your creative authority. You are not a passive participant in existence. You are a conductor of frequency. Through awareness, intention, and trust, you tune your instrument back into harmony with the symphony of creation. As you close this stage of the journey, breathe softly and let the silence deepen. Within that silence lies everything you've been seeking. The stillness after the ritual is not empty. It is full of new potential, vibrating gently, waiting for you to live it. After the ritual of renewal, the next movement is integration. Cleansing opens the channels, but integration anchors the new frequency into daily life. Without this step, the light that entered can dissipate, absorbed again by old habits and unconscious patterns. Integration is how energy becomes embodiment. It's how vibration becomes reality. The days following a deep energetic reset often feel quieter. The mind softens. The body feels spacious, almost translucent. Colors seem brighter, time slower. It's not illusion, it's perception clearing. The senses begin to align with subtler dimensions. But in this stage, one must move gently. Just as soil needs time to absorb new rain, the soul needs space to stabilize new light. Integration begins with awareness of energetic hygiene, a conscious respect for the vibration you now carry. After cleansing, it's natural to feel more sensitive to environments, conversations, and media. You may find that noise or conflict feels heavier than before. This is not weakness, it is refinement. Sensitivity is the soul's intelligence. It tells you where your frequency thrives and where it drains. Listening to that intuition is part of the integration. Protecting your energy does not mean isolating from life. It means moving through life with discernment. Every moment asks a question. Does this expand or contract my energy? Expansion feels light, peaceful, alive. Contraction feels dense, anxious, or forced. The body always knows the difference. By honoring its feedback, you maintain alignment without struggle. One of the most effective ways to stabilize energy is through conscious rhythm. The universe moves in cycles, day and night, inhale and exhale, creation and rest. When you attune your routines to these natural rhythms, your energy synchronizes with cosmic flow. Rise with awareness, eat with presence, rest without guilt. These simple acts become spiritual maintenance. Energy thrives in balance, not in constant activity. Another key to integration is emotional transparency. After a reset, emotions that were once buried may surface, not as regression, but as release. Old memories may appear, dreams may intensify, relationships may shift. This is the field adjusting to its new frequency. Do not suppress these waves. Meet them with compassion. They are not obstacles. They are echoes leaving your system. In moments of emotional turbulence, return to breath. The breath is the thread between the visible and the invisible. With every conscious inhale, you remind the body that it is safe. With every exhale, you remind the mind that it can surrender. The breath recalibrates the field faster than thought ever could. Living in a cleansed state also requires mindful consumption, not only of food, but of information, conversation, and attention. Everything you engage with carries energy. Words are frequencies. Images transmit vibration. Even thoughts have nutritional value. Feed your field with what uplifts, inspires, and expands. When you choose what enters your consciousness, you shape the architecture of your energy. This stage of integration is also the perfect time to deepen the relationship with gratitude. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's an energetic stabilizer. It locks high frequencies into place. When you give thanks for peace, peace multiplies. When you bless your own growth, the universe adds momentum. Each moment of sincere gratitude strengthens the energetic matrix that supports your light. Expansion follows naturally after integration. Once energy stabilizes, it begins to radiate outward. This radiation is not forced, it's effortless, like sunlight that doesn't try to shine. You become a transmitter of coherence. Others may feel calm in your presence without knowing why. You begin to attract circumstances that resonate with your purified state. The world reflects your inner order. To live in this state means embracing the paradox of still movement, the ability to act without losing peace. You may still face challenges, but you no longer meet them from chaos. You respond from awareness. Energy flows where attention goes, and now your attention comes from centeredness, not reaction. At this level, spiritual maturity reveals itself not in constant transcendence, but in grounded presence. You begin to see divinity in the ordinary. Washing dishes becomes meditation. Walking becomes prayer. Silence becomes conversation with the infinite. Every act, no matter how small, carries the vibration of consciousness when done with awareness. Integration also means releasing the attachment to the high of spiritual experience. The purpose of cleansing is not to chase light, but to embody balance. The ego sometimes wants to recreate the same profound sensations again and again, but the true mark of evolution is serenity. The quiet confidence that light is constant, even when you don't feel it intensely. This is where the frequency of trust becomes essential. Trust anchors light in the human experience. It whispers, "Even when I can't see the flow, I know it continues." Faith in energy is not blind optimism. It's alignment with universal intelligence. It's knowing that everything vibrates with purpose, even when the pattern is not yet visible. Energy mastery doesn't separate you from humanity. It deepens your compassion for it. When your field is clean, you perceive suffering differently. You no longer absorb it as yours. You meet it with light. You can stand in the presence of pain without drowning in it. This is true strength. The ability to remain open without losing balance. Living in a cleansed state transforms your relationship with time. The future no longer feels like a distant uncertainty. It becomes an unfolding of now. The past loses its weight because its lessons have already become wisdom. You start existing in the eternal present, the only moment where energy truly moves. In this expanded awareness, manifestation changes meaning. It's no longer about forcing outcomes. It's about maintaining alignment. You realize that what you seek is already orbiting your frequency. The only task is to remain clear enough to receive it. Manifestation becomes recognition, not pursuit. To sustain this state, practice periodic micro-resets throughout the day. A single deep breath, a conscious pause, a moment of gratitude. These are the maintenance rituals of a cleansed life. They prevent accumulation, keeping your field fluid and luminous. You don't need hours of meditation, you need moments of presence. Ultimately, integration and expansion merge into one truth. Energy is meant to flow. When it does, life unfolds with grace. When it doesn't, life invites you to cleanse again. Both states are part of the same divine dance. There is no failure in contraction, only an invitation to return to awareness. So, live gently, speak truthfully, move slowly enough to feel your own vibration. Protect your peace without closing your heart. And remember, the goal is not to stay high, it's to stay real, present, conscious, radiant in simplicity, because the energy reset was never about escaping the world. It was always about learning to walk through it as light. There comes a realization, gentle yet profound, that the ritual never truly ends. Cleansing, healing, returning to balance. These are not temporary events, but continuous movements of consciousness. Life itself is an ongoing reset, an infinite cycle of release and renewal. Just as the tide withdraws, only to return with greater rhythm, energy too ebbs and flows, each time purifying what was once held too tightly. To live consciously is to recognize that every breath is a chance to begin again. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment or the right alignment of stars. The sacred moment is always now. In this eternal present, the universe whispers, "You are the ritual." The hands that cleanse, the breath that releases, the awareness that observes, all are expressions of the same divine intelligence. As the journey deepens, one begins to understand that energy cleansing is not about chasing purity, but about embracing wholeness. The light and the shadow are not enemies, they are dancers in the same choreography of evolution. To reject one is to fragment the other. The true energy reset happens when acceptance replaces resistance, when one looks at their own darkness with the same compassion reserved for their light. The soul does not seek perfection, it seeks coherence. Coherence is when every part of you, seen and unseen, vibrates in harmony. It is the state where the mind no longer argues with the heart, where action aligns with purpose, where presence replaces pretense. When coherence arises, energy flows without interruption, and you become both the receiver and the transmitter of divine light. Becoming the source of light doesn't mean denying pain or floating above the world. It means embodying light within the world. The one who truly shines is not the one untouched by shadow, but the one who transforms shadow into illumination. This is the quiet mastery that radiates through authenticity. At this stage, the energy field evolves from being a vessel to being a beacon. The light you once called upon now emanates from within. You begin to feel an unshakable stillness beneath the movement of life. Even amidst chaos, something inside remains untouched, a center of eternal calm. That center is your essence. It never required cleansing, only remembrance. When you walk through life as light, everything changes its relationship with you. Situations that once drained you now serve as teachers. People who challenge you become mirrors, reflecting the parts of your field still yearning for integration. The world stops being against you and becomes a reflection of you. This awareness is liberation. To embody the eternal reset is to walk with reverence. Every sunrise becomes a benediction, every encounter a blessing, every silence a prayer. You start to notice beauty in the smallest things, the pattern of light on a wall, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the fragrance of the wind. These simple moments are not ordinary. They are the universe showing itself through matter. Awareness transforms perception, and perception transforms energy. There is an ancient truth. What you contemplate, you become. When you contemplate peace, peace becomes your nature. When you contemplate love, love radiates through your every gesture. Energy follows attention, and attention is the sculptor of reality. This is the essence of manifestation, not the summoning of external things, but the alignment of internal vibration until the external world harmonizes with it. Many search for light as if it were a distant star, but the star has always been within. The same energy that moves galaxies flows through your veins. The same intelligence that orchestrates the seasons beats your heart. You are not a fragment of the universe. You are the universe becoming aware of itself. This realization dissolves the illusion of separation. Cleansing no longer feels like something you do. It becomes something you are. Every exhale is release. Every inhale, renewal. The lines between spirit and matter blur, and you begin to experience reality as vibration, alive, fluid, conscious. From this awareness emerges compassion, not the soft pity of the ego, but the expansive compassion of unity. You see yourself in others and others in you. Every soul, no matter how lost, is light in disguise. When you meet the world from this knowing, your very presence becomes medicine. You heal not by doing, but by being. The eternal reset is the surrender to life's natural intelligence. It is trusting that every contraction is followed by expansion, every ending by beginning. When you stop resisting change, energy renews effortlessly. You realize that death and rebirth are not separate, they are simultaneous. Every moment something ends and something begins. This is the dance of consciousness, the pulse of existence. To live in that rhythm is to be free. You no longer chase outcomes or fear losses. You move through life as a current of awareness, flexible and luminous. Challenges still arise, but they no longer shake your foundation. They become waves on the surface of an ocean that knows itself as depth. And in that depth, you discover serenity, the serenity of being at home in the universe, the serenity of knowing that your energy is part of a divine continuum that cannot be broken. Even in moments of exhaustion, the light remains. Even in silence, the song of creation continues. As you close this cycle of cleansing, take a final breath and let gratitude expand through you, not as an emotion, but as a state of being. Gratitude is the highest expression of trust. It tells the universe, I recognize your wisdom, even when I don't understand it. With that vibration, all things align, because gratitude is the language of harmony. Carry this awareness into your days. Let your presence be your prayer, your kindness, your offering, your peace, your legacy. Walk softly but radiate strongly. Let your energy remind others of their own light. This is how the collective ascends, not through grand revolutions, but through quiet awakenings in countless hearts. And when the noise of life returns, as it always does, remember, the energy reset is never far. It lives in your breath, in your stillness, in your willingness to begin again. You are both the ritual and the result. You are the light remembering itself.